speaker of the day from National Capital Region, Delhi, India, Harleen Chadda, who shall also be speaking on empathy with a different taste. Thrive on.
Thank you, Dr. Alok, and thank you, Dr. Thani, not only for your contribution on this POE platform, but also for your contribution in so many lives all around, and especially during this pandemic times, unprecedented times, where it is. I think it means a lot that you are there with all the patients around. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so we move on to the last speaker, but definitely not the least speaker. We have with us Ms. Harleen Chadda. She will be talking on empathy. So please allow me to introduce Ms. Chadda. She is a learning and development facilitator by choice. Harleen has been associated with teaching for more than 2 decades. A hands on trainer with experience in multiple domains, has designed and conducted transformational workshops for professionals and students. Coming from a family with 3 generations into the Indian Army and now as an Army officer's wife, Harleen is inherently skilled to adapt to, learn new things, and relate to people across the cultures and backgrounds. The values that are the very core of our Indian Army forces. An avid learner, Harleen, apart from being an educator and facilitator, she is an NLP practitioner, adventurers, and an attitude expert. Over to you, Miss Harleen. Keep thriving.
Thank you, Nidhi, for such a kind introduction. Thank you, Poi, for giving me the opportunity to be speaking on Thrive Conference. In addition to what Dr. Thani said, here's my 2 cents on empathy. We mimic or we mirror people's expressions without even realizing it. Yawning is one example of that. Sometimes when we just see an emotional scene, our eyes become moist or we have a lump in our throat. So this is what is empathy, relating to the person's heart. And it is only possible when the mind is silent. Ordinarily, we are so full of thoughts that we forget this sensitivity. In fact, even when we are in love, we say, I think I am in love. So, over the period of time, human beings have really evolved in reason and intellect, but they have lost on the way of the heart. Mind has been trained, educated, and conditioned in any which way possible, but the heart has been ignored in every way possible. For most of us, it is just an organ to a pumping mechanism and not what is forming connections for us. By and by, we have forgotten that heart is far more valuable than our mind. I would like to share my acronym of the word empathy and how it can be used as a power tool to cultivate the essential skills that are needed for an harmonious coexistence. So the first alphabet, E for me, it represents an eye contact. Or let me say an eye for an eye, not in the real sense of the phrase. But when you have an eye contact with an individual, you give the other person his due, you have that instant bonding with the individual. M for me, it signifies motivation. You can only contribute to the world at large once you are motivated and you look after your own self. Charity begins at home. The next alphabet in the word empathy is P. Prayer. Very, very important. Gratitude and being humble. Prayer is something that guides our thoughts and actions, and it stirs us towards the light at the end of the tunnel. And this is what is self-empowerment, a very critical skill again. Next, A for me, it represents acknowledgement. People have to be made valued, and that is the only way to keep the people alive. Next for me is T, that is the tone. Soothing tone, it makes someone feel heard. Whenever a person is communicating outrage, moderating your voice rather than matching theirs is more appropriate. And this is what is effective communication. This is, in fact, what General Sandhu and Ms. Pris wanted to say. Why is your response? That response should resonate with the hearts of people. Whatever we know of people, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We have no idea about what their challenges are, about what their life's journey is all about what their circumstances are. And just to reinforce empathy, I will narrate a short story with a little different spice to it. So, this is a story about Gautam Buddha and his disciple Ananda. For 42 long years, Ananda and Buddha, they stayed together, day in and day out, 24/7. And they reached a time wherein their hearts had almost become one. Every time Buddha felt thirsty, even before uttering the word, Ananda was there with a glass of water. Every time Buddha felt the cold, lo and behold, and he could see Ananda walking towards him with a blanket. Or for that matter, if Buddha was restless the complete night, he realized that Ananda also had been restless that complete night. Many a times Buddha would ask him, he says, "Why have you brought this water? I had not asked for it." Ananda replied, "It does not matter whether you ask or not. I felt the thirst that my master is thirsty. I felt that my master was cold." He said, "I don't know how, but the feeling is so strong that I cannot go against it. If you're not thirsty, don't drink the water." So, the strong feeling that we talk about is nothing else but the experience and the connectivity through empathy. All of us in this journey of life, we don't realize that this is an essential skill that we need to inculcate in ourselves. Sometimes, even before the lover says it, the beloved knows what the lover wants to say. It comes intrinsically to the mother. The umbilical cord never gets cut. That relationship from womb to tomb, no matter what the distance, the mother gets to know that the child has been at unrest. That is what is empathy. So we are all living in a world today wherein empathy needs to be inculcated. We are facing the empathy crisis. And the irony is that this is one of the rarest of the rare things that we come with. We are facing the empathy crisis and it has to be regained. And getting it back will give us a totally new and a luminous existence. And that is a time when the world will be a much better place to live in. We will all be able to experience beauty and bliss in the real form of the word. Let us all learn to empathize and empathize authentically to transform the lives of ourselves and the people around us. Let us give it a try and be the change that we want to see in the world. And let's make the world a better place to live for you and I. Thank you.
All right, Arlene. I started with you when I spoke of sympathy and empathy. I once again want to ask you, give us in brief, why empathy has not taken off as much as sympathy has. And why is it that we cannot differentiate between being sympathetic and ought to be empathetic? I would like you to speak briefly on it, please.
Thank you so much, Colonel Alok, for your question. So we need to understand what is the basic difference between sympathy and empathy. So whenever we talk about sympathy, we can be sympathetic towards anybody without even having a relationship or a connect with that person. The second most important aspect about sympathy is when you sympathize with the person, somewhere down the line, somewhere deep down in our heart, we have that little feeling of pleasure that that person is in that condition. Thank God I'm not in that condition. And the moment we are sympathetic towards somebody, we don't realize, but at that point in time, we are superior to that person. And in our mind, the person whom we are sympathizing with is little lowly compared to us. And when we talk about empathy, it is absolutely the other way around. It is that connection, that understanding about what the other person is feeling. For empathy, we need to go through us. We need to amplify people's strength and do not focus on their weaknesses. And when we understand what the other person is, we realize that nobody is imperfect in this world. And relationships can only flourish when we can give the other person his or her due. I would in fact say, because none of us are perfect and we are all to err as human, I would say how empathy has helped me. So I would say कुछ इस तरह मैंने जिंदगी को आसान कर लिया, किसी को माफ कर दिया, किसी से माफी मांग ली. Thank you.
Thank you, Harleen. Before I hand over the process to Dr. Nidhi, I would just give you two brief words. The first word starts with A, which talks about abundance. And the second word is with P, which starts with priorities. Remember, the way you look at the world is the way you look at it. If you are abundant within, you will look at abundance. But if you are empty within, or you're trying to fill yourself within, you will only look at what is not there in the glass. The second is making a priority. That is taking a decision. You have to start taking a decision this way or that. Slowly you're gonna learn it. But if you're not prioritizing, and these two words as I share them with you are for these words of thrive, trust. If you do not trust, have trust in yourself, would you trust others? So there is no abundance. You are not healthy within. You don't have a priority of your own health. How would you seek others to be healthy? You do not respect thy own self. You don't have the abundance. You don't have it in others. You don't seek it from others, and you don't give it to others. Similar for inspiration. You are not inspired within. What can you do to others? You do not have the sense of victory, of multiculturalism around you. How will you look at people with the same eye?